G'day there, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Congratulations to all of you. You've done it. You found the champ dog. Pat on the back for all of you. So today, we are going to jump back into the arena. We are ranking up. We are marching straight into Platinum, throwing down a Snickers wrapper, and spray painting our name on the walls. That's about how easy it felt anyway. Before we do that, though, it's the start of a new week, so why don't we start it off right? That's it. Those of you following along at home, you may have noticed that each sip we share together tastes a little bit better than the last. Makes me feel more attractive, more intelligent. Certainly makes you seem that way too. Today, as I'm recording this, it probably won't be today for you viewing it. We actually got some results out for the SCG tournament over the weekend. And surprisingly, the Izzet list seemed to perform really badly. And that's both the Izzet Turns sort of combo control deck and the Izzet Dragons list, similar to what I'm running here. And MonoGreen, Mono-White, and other more aggressive lists seem to overperform, which seems really weird to me because it's just so contrary to my experiences. I felt that my aggro matchups have been really favorable with this list so far. I've only come across the Turns deck, I think twice, and I believe I won. I know I've won at least once. I'm not sure if there was a second game, but I kind of think there was and that I won it. Obviously, this is all extremely anecdotal. This is my experience with a handful of games on Arena, not in a tournament. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, that you can definitely color me surprised. What do you guys think? What were you expecting coming out of that? Were you expecting the Izzet Turns list and or even the Dragons lists to dominate the tournament? That certainly seemed to be the expectation of a lot of people going in there. Are you surprised by the performance of like Mono-White aggro, for example? I've seen very little of it on ladder. But it seemed to do quite well. I'm still waiting on the final results, but this is just going off some of the top performing decks for the day before the final matches had finished. I'm obviously going to stay on top of that. We might talk about it a little bit more in the next video. But until then, it's time for you to shuffle up. I'll see you in the arena in a second. Okay, so Voltaic here is our gatekeeper to get into Platinum. So I'm sorry, buddy, but you got to go down. I'm hanging out on the left side of the screen today. Felt like a little bit of a change. I don't know how to feel about this hand. It's like, it's not bad. It's just awkward. We'll keep it. We'll give it a try. I mean, Expressive Iteration is a hell of a card, so hopefully it can help us find some lands and whatnot. Okay, Dimir Control. Now, I did just take down a Dimir Control list. I'm making a big assumption of seeing one land. It's actually, I think, still more likely this is Sultai. No, it's not. Okay, so some sort of Dimir self-mill situation. Rad. Divide by 0, Fading Hope. Okay, Esper. I take it all back. Take it all back. Oh, Mountain, where were you last turn? Not that it mattered. So we really need this Expressive Iteration to resolve next turn. Sure. I wonder what the payoff for all this self-milling is. It could just be a Esper flashback situation. I know Dev at SBMTG did a Ominous Roost deck the other day. I haven't actually checked that video out yet. That could be good. Feel like I'm running this into counter magic. We've still got a couple of lands here. I don't think it's too greedy to... No, I do need to take the land. I forgot this was Iteration and not a memory deluge. Oh, little brain snap. The only question is, which one do I want? So... I think it's going to be like this, sadly. Library... Do we think this is a Reanimator situation? Siphon Insight? Sure, you could just play good cards in your own deck. I think it's a Fading Hope. I was actually just playing against a... They really want to stack their graveyard, and that terrifies me. I was just playing against a Dimir control list that resolved like 4 Siphon Insights against me, and it actually worked out wonderfully for me because I got to cast Fading Hope, and they effectively drew me cards, which was pretty nice. I think we just go for this. It gets countered, it gets countered. It looks like our opponent just wants to dirtle and fill their graveyard for a few turns and hope that my cards are better than their cards. I mean, this card basically says 2 mana, hope that your opponent has a card that's better than this in their deck, right? I mean, I get that it's a 2 mana spell that you can look at 2 cards and draw 1 and then flash it back for 3. Like, it gets you some card advantage, and I'm sure there are situations it pays off really well and feels great, but there's just also an alternative of playing better spells in your own deck, you know? Feels like that's a thing you could be doing. I think next turn we iterate, because I can iterate and have Divide by 0 held up. And they haven't been able to answer one, so maybe we just play out the other. This could be a bit reckless, but we're going for it. I still don't really know what I'm facing. It just seems like a flashback tribal so far. Yeah, so they do have some reanimation things. Okay, no, they just scoop it. Wonderful. Really makes me wish I had some better graveyard synergies. Okay, and they scoop and we get into platinum. It is that easy, guys. That is how good this deck is. You only need to play 1 game in a best of 3 match. So, yeah, platinum. We just hit platinum in the best of 1 queue. What other jokes can I do here? What other bits? This just went a little quicker than I expected, so I feel like I need to fill in... What are we? We're at about 5 minutes, so I got to fill in at least another 15 minutes here to get a full video out of this. So let's work on my stand-up routine. So a guy walks into a bar. No, I'm being silly. Obviously, it's nice to get that win, and I really wish I could see what my opponent was actually doing. I love that the sideboarding counter is still timing down in the background. But yeah, I'd love to see more of my opponent's deck and know what was actually going on there. But yeah, dragons for the win, guys. We take easy wins. We take difficult wins. We take any kind of wins here. I guess we'll play another game. On the draw, that happens a lot. There's a very awkward hand with no red mana. If this was a mountain, this would be an easy keep for me, but it's not a mountain, so it's a mulligan. I hope I don't regret putting this back, but I think it's the one that has to go. Expressive Iteration is just too good to bottom. Well, now I wish I had a bounce spell. You know? We're going to lead on this. Just a small, tiny chance that we hit the Frostboil Snarl. Just, assistant isn't, my MTGA assistant is not working for some reason. So it's not accurately tracking my results. It's still telling me I'm down at like 72% win rate, and that's just no longer accurate. I'm clearly above 75 at this point. That is rude. I really wish I'd kept that Fading Hope, you know? Really wish I'd kept that Fading Hope. Well, there's the Fading Hope, but not quite how we wanted it. Hand, library. I wish you were a mountain. Wonderful. Yeah, go on. Attack. Bounce it. This is a bigger creature on the battlefield, for sure. But that represents more of a wasted resource. I really need red lands. What am I doing next turn? It's probably Sciences and Dragon's Fire. I can keep an island. I had a moment where I had a Homer Simpsons in my voice. Silence, you fool. With that, you can get red lands. It's, you know, environmental sciences and all. We'll take a mountain, please. We certainly are not doing too well here. That is for sure. Let's just kill off this land now. I should have done this during combat so they can't use the mana. Okay, so we just die here, unfortunately. Can I please just access the concede function? My mouse keeps slipping off the screen. That's a little frustrating. Okay, so pretty easy. I want Burning Hands. I don't need Oren's Epiphany so much. I actually do still want the bounce spells. Probably cut a Deluge. And what else do I cut? Ooh, maybe one dragon. But I've considered cutting Disdainful Stroke. I don't know if a list like this would have Chariot. Man, we got slaughtered there. There's a very aggressive green list. Has no interaction and I'm not doing anything till turn 4. I am on the play. I don't think I can keep it. I don't think it's good enough. Oh wow, punished. Okay, so this is a bit of a non-game, unfortunately. That's unfortunate, but it happens. That is Magic the Gathering. So let's sneak in one more. On the play, always nice, feels good. Hand's not amazing, but it's reasonable. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Yeah, we'll lead on a mountain. Doesn't really matter, does it? It's turn 2 egg either way. I love a turn 2 egg. It's so much better than not having a turn 2 egg. Even on the draw, most of the time, turn 2 egg feels good. Malevolent Hermes. Well, I'm not countering anything, and honestly, I don't care to necessarily kill this right now. So let's just foretell Epiphany. Target non-creature spell, and non-creature spells can't be countered. I really wish I had a Spikefield Hazard. That would just be very tasty, you know? Happy to end my turn here. Maybe I should have tried to get the Moonveil Regent, but I'm holding up the Deluge. That's the plan. Cathartic Pyre? Okay, so this is the turns version. So maybe I should have just slapped down the Regent. Yeah. Ugh. I don't know what this matchup is like for us. I can also understand main decking Hermit in that deck as well, because you really don't want your thingies to be countered. Demon Bolt, huh? Sure. That's fine too. I mean, it's a little sad. I would have liked my memory deluge and I would have liked my egg, but you know. I do get to play out my regent. It's something. But I do have to admit this doesn't feel like it's going particularly well for us so far. Iteration, sure, get on in there. Get on in. Welcome to the resolved zone. Iteration. Okay, opponent tapped out as well. That's, you know, if only this was an untapped land so we could really take advantage of that. But we'll slap down our egg. And hopefully we can Dragon's Fire the Benevolent Geist if they try to play that out. I would be pretty happy if they do. And even if they counter it, that's most of their mana gone. What you got? Iteration? Sure. Let's iterate. 3 cards and you choose one. Yay. They do find a land. Wonderful. Yes. Yes, play it. I will draw a card, thank you. Feels good. Feels good. And I think we just win here, don't we? Yeah, we just win there. Never didn't have it. Okay, so I want my negates. I want my hermits. I want my strokes. I don't want to get rid of Dragon's Fire. I think getting rid of that would be a mistake. Do I want Fading Hope? Probably not. I kind of do want to bring in the Deluges, but let's be honest, Expressive Iteration is better. On the draw, so I'll trim the worst land in my deck. I don't know how great I feel about that, to be honest, because falling behind in lands is so punishing, especially when you're on the draw. But statistically speaking, it should be fine. Still leaves us, we've got, what, 17 dedicated lands, 20, 23, 24, 25. We've still got 25 lands in the deck on the draw. We should be okay. Some will be tapped, might be awkward. 2 more cuts. I like Divide by 0 because it gets around the can't be countered effect of the Hermit. And maybe cut 1 Disdainful Stroke. Because they might be cutting some whatchamadoohickeys. What do you call them? Epiphanies? Would they cut Epiphanies against me? I don't know. If I want to try this version of the deck, the Izzet Turns version, but I have not yet. I don't really want to cut a threat, but I also don't know what else I want to cut. Maybe I cut 1 egg because I've got the hermits in the same slot. Okay, hand is unspectacular, but keepable. Now, my first inclination is to play this on turn 1 as a tap land, but Malevolent Hermit really changes that dynamic since this exiles. So I'm just going to do this in case of a Hermit. Unfortunately, the stick there kind of gives away that we have it. Dragon's lists don't run and play with fire, so there's not really much else it could be. And obviously, if we end up having to play this next turn to make a land drop, we get punished pretty hard there. Iteration. Iteration. Be so greedy to negate this. So greedy, right? But, you know, what if they didn't have lands otherwise? If I knew that they'd missed a land drop, like if this was turn 3 and they played this. Sorry, like, you know what I mean. It was my turn 3 and they were still on 2 lands. Punished. Absolutely punished. I don't know why I didn't foretell there either. I don't know what they're doing on turn 4 that I need to negate so badly. Smoldering egg, huh? We're going to reveal the gold spin. So we can hit them with the surprise regent next turn. Sure. I mean, that's actually quite unfortunate. That's all the removal out of my deck. That's absolutely brutal. But it's still kind of the best opening. And it does mean we can resolve regent next turn. And then if that gets answered, hopefully we can resolve Goldspan. Taking their time, sticky beaking through my deck. But it is really awkward that they just hit all of my removal spells. And thankfully we did find the 4th land. Let's just slap down our regent. And hopefully they don't have removal. Bit of a pipe dream, I know. But yeah, we do need to be the proactive deck in this matchup. We do need to just kind of present threats and force them to respond, because they do win a long game. So here's hoping they don't have... what's it called? What is the name of that card? Disdainful Stroke. Two Test of Talents. That's so greedy. But they do get to flip their thing, and unfortunately we can't really punish them for it. That's so greedy running Test of Talents like that. Okay, so... those two back in. So the reason I'm thinking of cutting Expressive Iteration here is just that it's the sorcery speed option as opposed to this being instant speed. For reasons I've already discussed, I don't really want to cut my threats. I don't think we win a long game in this situation. I also don't know how good Disdainful Stroke is. If they're the version that runs Goldspan Dragon, it's a bit better, but they shouldn't be running Goldspan Dragon. So it's really only hitting our Deluge or Epiphany. It's not amazing against Deluge and Epiphany. They're trying to copy with Galvanic Iteration. So I think we can afford to cut one of those. Bring in a Fading Hope, just as like a little hedge against a resolved threat. Have the opportunity to draw into a 1-mana response. And or save one of our own creatures. On the play, yes please. Can I keep this hand? Why not? Hopefully turn 2 Jwari gets something. I mean, in a dream world, turn 2, 3, 4 counters should put us in a pretty good position, but it's unlikely it pans out like that, isn't it? Because, you know, there's an actual other person. Turn 2 Egg, nice top deck. But yeah, there is a thinking, rational human being with agency over the game on the other end. Malevolent Hermit, sure. The staring match begins. Hermit versus Egg. Who will win? So if we need to counter something, obviously be Fading Hope first. And then slap down the counter. Smoldering Egg. It's a nice little target for that. And do I want to do this? I do kind of want the Scry. And it does cost them 2 mana. I mean, Negate is real nice, but I need to find a land. And I do, which is wonderful. I'm just thinking, do I get Teachings? So they're going to play a land and a Hermit. So then they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. I will draw a land and have the Teachings. I'll be on 4. Maybe not draw a land. So I'll be on 4 cards. Play Teachings down to 3. So Teachings will draw me 2 cards. Good. Unless they don't have a land. Okay, they do. Wonderful. And they choose to iterate instead. Okay. No land is kind of a bummer. Slapping down a Goldspan Dragon would have been really nice there. Ugh. Do I hang on to this to answer the Hermit? I mean, it's such a clean answer, but need to make the land drop. I think getting stuck on lands is a great way to lose this match. Cool, divide by 0. Play your Hermit. Wonderful. Oh, that's so good for us. That worked out so well for us. Double Hermit, sure. Our opponent's hand is awkward. Like, real awkward. I think I have to go for this. Yeah, I think I have to. Now, do I want to try and play the egg? I think I hold. I think I hold. Opponent's hand is obviously a little bit awkward. I think they're sitting on a divide by 0. Prismari command. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, create a treasure token. I really want to negate this. I'm gonna. Yes, they scoop. We get there. So I was just thinking about if I should Dragon's Fire one of the Hermits then and there. All right, I did not expect that match to go so well for us. I thought we would have been the underdog in that match. But I don't know, that went pretty tidily. That felt good. That felt very good. Anyway, I think we will wrap that up there. We did have 2 pretty short games and now one sort of reasonable game. It's a shame my deck tracker isn't working, so my stats are going to be a little bit off now, but what does one do? It's just been a little bit like that. Have you guys noticed MTGA Assistant playing up a little bit recently? I've noticed that. Seems weird. Anyway, that's it. So I'm gonna stop prattling. I'm gonna stop prattling right now. The nerves, they're getting to me. Stop looking at me like that. You're making me nervous. I can't stop. All right, show's over, guys. No lollygagging. Move along. Shut off the camera. So that's all the games I've got for you today, guys. I'm really glad you tuned in. I will have more games coming up for you shortly. These were all taken a few days ago now by my standards, at any rate. I do have some more games coming up for you guys really shortly that I'm excited to share with you. But until then, stay brilliant, and I'll catch you real soon.